When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
And I'm currently searching for him. You guys can hear me. I apologize. I think I'm having a little feedback problems here. If you guys can hear me, please start this thing off not too good. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, I think this is here. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. Tell me you can see me, you can hear me. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Thank you guys for coming in this morning for good. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you for coming in this morning. I started off with this bad feed just now. I'm really glad that everything started working at this point. Again, I'm David Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son Daniel, a graduate of the College of Charleston, South Carolina. Graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, with honors in the field of geology. Thank you, Amy. My son decided to go out to Phoenix, Arizona to start his career, start his life as a geologist. He landed his first job in life with a company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. My son Daniel got hired on as a field geologist, is also called a hydrogeologist because he goes out to various well sites all across Arizona. What they do is test the viability of wells. My son's job is to determine if these wells can produce enough water, 100 years of water, that is, that can sustain the community. That's one of the things required by law in the state of Arizona. Arizona is a desert state, so they need those groundwaters to sustain water for residents, for people. So his job is very important. They also check the water itself to make sure it's drinkable water that's coming out of that ground. So those things are very important. My son on June the 23rd of 2021 had received 2 assignments from his job. That's something that's usual, that's typical. That's exactly how his days usually go. He was supposed went to the first well site, according to his job, He went to the first well site where I based my understanding is from some pictures that my son took on his phone. He just took some pictures of some logs, got some information from some logs from that well site. After he left that location, according to the only person who said he seen my son last, my son was headed out to Sun Valley Parkway to meet a guy named Ken, who works for a company called Weber Waterworks. According to the story from that point, it came from that guy. One thing I can say in between, based on Dane's cell phone, this guy Ken called out to Daniel, left a voicemail. Daniel did not answer the phone. I'm sure didn't know who the number was at the time. He was able to leave a voicemail to Daniel. Left a voicemail for Daniel, and saying that asking Daniel not to come up there too quickly. There's some issues with the fueling. I don't know what type of equipment is going to be used, but he said the fuel truck hasn't showed up, and tried to get Daniel to not come up so quickly. Next, Daniel did try to return the phone call after this so-called voicemail. Ken did not answer. And then, from what I understand, it appears, if I can remember correctly, I believe Ken called again. That went unanswered. Daniel, it's kind of like a back and forth. Daniel called him. I can tell these were just back and forth missed calls because there was no seconds and no minutes into the timeline. Afterwards, Daniel sent him a text message. The text message read, asking him for directions to the location. Ken did not answer, did not return the text message or made a phone call from that point ever again. Well, I'll take that back to later on that day. From that morning, he have never responded back to Daniel. So Daniel again tried to make a phone call, and that was at 9:28 a.m. I'm assuming to still try to get locations to this place. Being that Ken did not answer the text message or call him, it was impossible for Daniel to know how to get to Sun Valley Parkway if he was asking for directions. According to Ken, my son met him on Sun Valley Parkway, finally got there some kind of way, figured it out on his own, I guess. Made it out to Sun Valley Parkway. They had a brief conversation on the side of the road. My son followed him into that desert. They went 1 mile west, 2 miles north to this well site. They arrived at the well site at 9 o'clock. Remember, you guys, Daniel still asked for direction at 9:28. But according to Ken, he talked to Daniel at 9 o'clock. They met at the well site. They made it to the well site. They talked for a brief moment, roughly 10 or so minutes. At 9:15, Daniel waved off to him, took off, and never to be seen again to this date. So those things was inconsistencies in the story that was at the beginning. But you guys know from my story, my point of view, I also want to put the missing person report in for my son. That was based on everything I know about my son. His pattern has been broken. Some of the things that he do not do since he's been young. He would not go out and decide to just leave life as it is, or to take plans or make a trip without telling someone of his plans and his what he planned to do. According to my daughter, she said she received someone knocked on her door. It was Daniel's coworker, one of his friends, his off the job friend, came over to see if Daniel was there. She told her what was going on. Nobody heard from him since that morning. And of course, the first thing she wanted to do is call out. I'm not sure she called her mother, but she definitely called me. When I received that call, I was in South Carolina, and my daughter is really uptight. I want to make sure that she's okay. So of course, we've had to first do our due diligence, get her calmed down, let her go into check Dane's apartment to see if he was there. First of all, it could be sleep, anything. I don't know. So she went to the apartment. In the meantime, we was making phone calls, calling friends, you name it. Daniel we couldn't get in contact with Daniel. But when she made it there, of course, Daniel's vehicle was missing. He would not answer the door, but she did notice a light on in the apartment because she could see through the patio curtains. She could see the light. Of course, that was really, really something unusual for Daniel, especially with the time length that I noticed. After I got the information, I looked at the time. The time difference from South Carolina and Arizona at the time was 3 hours apart. I look at the information that I received. The last time Daniel had said reportedly being seen, that was way out of character. It was over 6 hours. That was something that I knew instantly that something wasn't right. So the first thing I did to even go farther in my due diligence is I reached out to the Tempe Police Department, which is the city that Daniel was living in at the time. He had previously lived in Phoenix. He moved over to Tempe, Arizona, and I called the Tempe Police Department, put in not a missing person report, but I asked them, could they please, because the first thing I'm thinking is seeing the light on and things like that. Someone stole his car, something could be going on in his apartment. Let's go and check that out. Of course, Tempe declined to do so, do a welfare check. That was based on the fact that I had mentioned the word White Tank Mountains. They asked if there was a place that he was seeing last. I say, well, they said something about some White Tank Mountains. That got the dispatcher or whoever she was to push me over and say, hey, that's to Buckeye, Arizona. So she got me over to the Buckeye Police Department where I asked for the same thing. I asked for a welfare check. The Buckeye Police Department called, I guess, got in contact with Tempe. And that's when Tempe went out to do this welfare check. But they did not go inside, you guys. They went to the window. They peeked through the same curtain that my daughter did. They saw the light on the inside. They said they don't see nothing strange. And that was the end of that. You guys, after a little time, I decided to put in a missing person report because, he wasn't, according to the welfare check, he's supposed to be in there. I didn't know exactly at the time how they did it, but he wasn't there. And that was very highly, highly suspect for me and my family. So I tried to put in a missing person report, called back the Buckeye Police Department. They declined for me to put the missing person report in, say I had to wait 12 hours. I was 3 hours short of that. I had to wait 3 hours, pace the floor around my house until that time was up, then call back. That's when they took the report. So those things, what I'm saying, you guys, going at this point here, is that sometimes those crucial moments are very crucial. It's a crucial point where a family you go through the whole stream. So sometimes they say, hey, look, give it time. They might come back. I get all of that. Sometimes people do come back, but a lot of families like myself would do our due diligence first. We go through all the streams to make sure that this person is missing, our loved one is missing. Sometimes we have to think outside the box. They may do something a little different finally in life. It's not impossible. So that's why you go through the diligence, make sure that this person is indeed missing. So when you exhaust all your options, then you put that report in, you expect for the law enforcement to act immediately. Of course, that did not happen for me. That was 3 hours lost at the beginning. The next thing, when I was able to put the missing person report in, it took time for the officer, Cruz at the time, to go through everything. That means calling the same people I called, the job, getting information from the only person that said he saw him last, Ken. Also to go out into the area, which he said he did. I was going out to the area to go up and down Sun Valley Parkway. I didn't know what Sun Valley Parkway at the time was. That was some of the first times hearing those words. I was relieved. He said he's going up in the area to see if he's stuck on the side of the road or something, to make sure, because he said Sun Valley Parkway is a really long road, and he went up and down that area. Of course, I'm still doing my due diligence, you guys, and still trying to get information from Daniel's job. I did realize that they say, hey, no, Daniel went missing in the desert. So they explained that to me. It wasn't something that was outside the desert on the Sun Valley Parkway. So, of course, I called Officer Cruz back and asked them, could they go in the desert to look for my son? I'm in South Carolina. It was impossible for me to do so at the moment. And Officer Cruz told me they would not be able to do it because it's nighttime, but they would do it in the morning. Of course, you guys know that the more I paced the floor all night, did some other due diligence, phone calls, keeping in contact with Officer Cruz, find out what he found out or what he know, things like that. But when that morning came, of course, I talked to the next officer that came in on duty. He transferred over. He found out what happened that night. Of course, he said, yes, they was going to get their flight out. I was really still relieved about that. Just anxious for them to go out to search for my son. And then a little time after that, he called back and said, well, the flight is unauthorized. It was unauthorized because his higher ups, is what he told me. His higher ups cancel and unauthorize it because they say he's a grown man. If he want to disappear on his own, he can. And there you go again. There's more crucial moments out in that desert that caused my son not to be go look for. So those times are time lost. Things was going on at the time, I'm sure. And those was time lost by the police department. Hearing that, you guys, I lost all sense of reality, like any parents would. I just, by instinct, just grabbed everything I could, threw it in my vehicle, and just started heading west without thinking. Some people say, "Hey, look, you could have took a flight." Yes, that's what my thinking at the time. I just grabbed everything I can and started heading west. Once I got a certain distance away, I've been doing phone calls. I've been doing everything I can to try to get information. It was a long ride to get to Arizona, a long time. But you know what? I was really trying to push and push and push to get information and try to give information that I can for law enforcement, and so also alert my family. My family also was doing the same, trying to get all the information that we can, try to do what we can. Of course, you guys know about my auntie in Pennsylvania, who was able to somehow convince Buckeye to do this helicopter search. She was very excited. She said, "Hey, look, they're gonna have the Phoenix Firebird helicopter." We didn't know what that was at the time. To go out in the area to look for him. I was relieved of that, but the point was, is almost 3 days after Daniel went missing. I was almost in Phoenix at the time when she called me. I was just coming into the outside of Phoenix. I was in Arizona, but coming out the outside of Phoenix when I received that phone call from my auntie. And of course, we were relieved of that somebody was finally going out to look, but it was late, very late, you guys. Sometimes law enforcement would try to make it sound like they did something great. Or we went out with this helicopter and they tried to promote it and everything like that. But you got to look at the time. Look at the timing. The timing was almost 3 days after Daniel went missing. Those are crucial and critical moments that would determine as a person's life, or they can die, or they state remain missing forever, or whatever the case may be. Those are crucial moments. So we have to try to make sure that we get law enforcement to do a lot better and fight against those type delays. And only thing, I have some solutions to that I will be talking about one day in the future. But those are things that definitely had to stop, because that's hurting a lot of families. That caused me to go out and start searching on my own. You guys, I'm a father. I'm the type of father like that for my family. I know a man's supposed to protect his family in every aspect that he can. Whether it's financially, emotionally, you name it, spiritually, you protect your family. And this is one way that I protected my son, regardless of the age. Once your children, you have children, they are your children. It's a lot of times people used to get on me and say, "Hey, yes, my son, like, he's like a little kid." Well, to me, he is. He is. I was there for him when he was born. So you guys, to a parent, many of you already know that. You look at your children, you always gonna say, "My children, my child is missing." 23 years old, whatever, my child is missing. So, that's how we look at it. And so, of course, I'm definitely was fighting for that. You guys know I came out in Arizona on June the 26th of 2021 and hitting the ground running. You guys, working with the law enforcement, working with Buckeye Police Department, as well as starting my own investigation. It turns out that I had to end up, because of the failure of the law enforcement, Buckeye, Arizona law enforcement, I had to get my own investigation going, private investigator going, to get more information that we know today. So all the information you guys find about my son's vehicle, the red transfer paint, the 11 additional miles, the 46 initial cycles, to the impressions on the windshield, all that information came from myself and my investigator. Nothing came from Buckeye, Arizona. They utilized this information. They gave it to the FBI, I'm sure, to bolster their credibility. But those things that came directly from my investigator and myself. Information. They became to a point they start asking us. They call me and ask me for things. I want them to do the work. They're law enforcement. They need to start doing work and things like that. Of course. So those are reasons why you guys, all the things that you know about. Of course, the first initial crash happened around 1 o'clock today. My son went missing. So those things are, you look at the timeline. If the first crash happened around 1 o'clock, they claiming my son was missing around 9:00, 9 o'clock, 9:15. What happened in between those hours? Why didn't law enforcement feel like those are critical moments? When he went missing. Why did we put those things together? So, those are really critical moments. But anyway, I'm here, you guys, to talk about Dave's case. Of course, that's the reason why I have the Q&A. You guys have questions about my son's case. I started this to make sure to keep Daniel's story alive. You cannot let this story become a cold case. The way things become a cold case is because if you don't keep it active, I'm tell families this all the time, build your website, build your platform, build a YouTube channel like this to be able to talk. Get on TikTok, something I need to do a lot better. but do something to keep it going, because you know what, Daniel's case did go nationally for a while after this Petito case situation and the sad case of the Petito family. You know, but news people's not overwhelmingly taking Daniel's story like they used to. You know what I'm saying? Because after a while, the news cycle spins around. Though these reporters and journalists have compassion, they really. I mean, I know a lot of them. They call and check on me almost every day, every other day. But they have bosses. They have a job to do, and so there's a lot of other stories out there, and you know, you name it. And sometimes stories like Daniel would get pushed under the rug. So you got to make sure you keep your person's story alive. That will help law enforcement, put pressure on law enforcement as well to do the right thing. So you know what, you guys, you know, it's easy for you to walk away and just leave it to law enforcement. When you do that, your person's case will end up in a file somewhere in the back closet, and they get to it when they get to it, you know, which could be 10, 20, 15 years later. I don't know. You know, so sometimes, you know, just want to make sure that you stay active and keep your person's case actively going. So again, I'm Dave Rawson. Thank you guys for I just want to talk to also about the 25th, the Saturday that we just had a search for Daniel. You guys know it's been weeks and weeks and weeks before I had my last search, you know, public search. I had some searches in between. You know, of course, I had some science department come out to help. But I had some other little small little searches that was just independent, like this. When I say independence, between myself and a few others. But the public search, you know, I haven't had that in months, and that's because of funding and because of a lot of other issues that I had to make sure was in place. Things I had to make sure was in place before I could say I could have a public search. You know, you had to have some safety things there. That was one of the biggest things. Even if you don't have the equipment, don't have certain things going on, you definitely have to keep people safe. Like I told you guys who came out in the safety briefing, I'm not willing to lose anyone to just to search for my son. I desperately want to find Daniel, but I'm not willing to risk another soul or person just to do that. You know, I go out there myself a lot of times by myself. That's my risk. You know, since my son, I have to do that. But when it comes to other people's families, yourselves, I love you guys, and I definitely want to put you at risk. So the point is, I got the search going. It was really one that was done by faith. But I told you guys that before on this Q&A. It was based on faith. I didn't have all the things in place. I just knew I need to do it because I had the pressure of the community that's being built out there, and the pressure of the guys telling me I only could do one search. So I had those type pressures to make this search happen, and then it happened, you guys. And when it happened, I was very pleased. I knew I asked you guys for a minimum of 200, but I did want to say real quick, I had to correct those numbers. My team member, she was able to put those numbers together. Shauna, thank you so much for doing that. Put those numbers together. You know, of course, I asked for 200. We got 200, over 200 something to sign, but we didn't get quite the 200 that actually came out. But the people that came out, we did a tremendous, tremendous job. When I say tremendous, it was amazing. The way I wanted the line searches, for instance, to be two rows behind each other, a row behind the other row, basically. Just two rows of line searches back to back, tight knit. And the reason why I was doing it that way is because I wanted to make sure that you know, we're not missing anything, because I know those moments, like I told you guys before, being pushed out the desert like that, or had to get to that point where I had to make hard decisions. I made sure we didn't miss anything, because they're gonna tear that ground up. The guys who've been out there this weekend, the area that we searched this weekend, the line search, they're tearing that ground up. That ground gonna be torn up. So I want to make sure we went through there at least a mile out to be able to you know, make sure there was no remains there, right? Human remains, whether it's Daniel or not. So that's our job. We was out there is to look for human remains, and you know, and anything suspicious that would be related to Daniel case or anything, you know, while we're out there. So I really thank you guys for the hard work and dedication you guys have been coming out there to do. But I want to put this up on the screen real quick, and this is some of the numbers that you know, Shauna came here with. Let me see if I can get it back up there again. The numbers that we have here, and for the search itself, the search breakdown like this: we had a total of 131 people on the ground. It wasn't quite the 200 that I was asking for, but I'm telling you guys, with the dedication and what people have done down there, like Dr. Widener and Mr. Pooley, you know, people that stepped up and and helped out as well as much as they can for every little aspect. You guys been on the ground and tightened those line searches, was perfectly lined, and the whole 9 yards made it like we had like 500 people out there, because you guys have worked hard and helped me out. So I really appreciate every volunteer that came out on Saturday. We also had the Eventbrite sign up. And like I said, you guys, people to sign up on Eventbrite was 242. Those are the exact numbers. I've been throwing the numbers out, I've been getting numbers, but we actually calculate these numbers and got them straight. There's 242 Eventbrite signups. We have the ASU folks, people from Arizona State University, Dr. Widener and her students, 20 of them, the students. And I was really happy to see them. And I really tell you, thank you guys for coming out and spending your time out there in the desert and seeing what happens when you go out and do line searches and things like that for cases like my son. My son went missing on June 23rd. We're looking for clues. We're looking for answers. And to have the ASU students on the ground was really nice. And I really thank you, each and every last one. I wish I could have shook every last one of your hands. I really thank you so much. Also, the Missouri School of Journalism, we had 5 students from there. Thank you guys for coming out from that school as well. I really appreciate it, you guys, because I had definitely had uh, uh, definitely just grateful because I definitely wanted to be able to get some of the students from that school to be able to enjoy learning more about how those things work. Because at the same time, they're doing videos, they was asking questions. It's almost like having an interview out there. So they're also in the learning curve, doing some great things, for their school and also for the future, because those are future journalists who will be out there getting these stories and things like that. And I'm really grateful for them to do Daniel's story. Mr. Starchill, he's the lead on that from the Missouri School of Journalism. Thank you, Mr. Starchill, for bringing the students out and letting them be a part of this search for Daniel. Also, we had 3 drone operators. The drone operators that I utilized had them one working off of Sun Valley Parkway, the east side of Sun Valley Parkway, for future possible future searches and things like that. Since I'm coming out of that area somewhat, you guys, I want to make sure that everything I'm doing my due diligence still, even after all these weeks, because we don't have the equipment that law enforcement would have. We don't have those technologies. We don't have those expertise or the way, the methods that they may be used. But I do it on my own. I'm learning, you guys. Is learning in an unfortunate way, but we're learning how to better do searches out there in the desert, more thorough searches. But you know what? What I can give to our credit, you guys, think about this now. Law enforcement say they've been out there searching for Daniel. They can throw out the numbers they want to. They have not found a construction cone. They haven't found human remains once. I think I hear them say they found some remains for the last search they say they had, but they haven't found anything. A construction cone, a pink elephant, nothing. Right? And I'm not saying this a bragging thing or something, some kind of bragging rights. What I'm saying is the dedication of people who don't have those equipments that law enforcement have, but they really are looking for something. That says a lot. Even with the equipment, with the dogs, with everything the law enforcement have, they have not found anything. And that goes to me, the credibility of wanting to really look or to really take the urgency there. Because think about this, you guys. We found human remains near a human skull near where my son's vehicle was, the crime scene where my son's vehicle was found, right? And law enforcement had, according to Maricopa County and some of the other, they had cadaver dogs and search dogs right there in those areas, right in the same spot, and didn't find a human skull, but it was there. We found it. You know what I'm saying? When I said the volunteers who was actually looking for something. So I'm saying, you guys, so I can say for the volunteers, thank you so much from the time I started the searches out there looking for my son when it was a rescue mission to the time when it's a recovery. You guys have been working diligently and hard and helping me have great eyes. I see people find bones as small as my thumb walking. So to get some clues and find out what's going on in that desert. Also, like I said, the drone operator, I have one working on the east side of Sun Valley Parkway, looking out in that area to look for future things like mines, because I did hear some mines, some vertical mines on the east side of the Sun Valley Parkway. So he was doing that, and I still got footage we're going through from that. I have one drone operator also going towards the west of where my son was supposedly, allegedly, was last seen at that well site, going west to get more footage that we probably have missed because there haven't been no line searches out that way because it just logistically was hard to do. So I had the drones operator to go give me footage from that. I'm waiting on the footage back from that as well to assess that for possibly future events because that's areas that have not been touched just yet that you guys can see on the set the map. But like I say, logistically, it's hard to get people on that side. We can get the ATVs, UTVs, but that's not a thorough this kind of search that we need on foot. Also, I had also another drone operator southwest of where the crime scene, where my son's vehicle was found. That crime scene. It was southwest across the. He did footages from the west side of the Hansappa River near the Pride Rock area to get a little further because of the way the thinking is, if a person was going in that area, they would go to a point of least resistance that's going downhill, and so I want to make sure I get those areas covered. So that was very, very crucial, you guys. Also, the Arizona Rangers was out there. I utilized them. Thank God. I thank the Arizona Rangers for coming out. They did an extraordinary job. I met a lot of guys. I even got some challenge coins that I really, from a military standpoint, you guys know what challenge coins are. So the thing was be able to interact with those guys again. They've been in previous searches before in the past, Arizona Rangers. But this time, they brought out, was that 13 Rangers out there and they did the line search for me, 13 of them. The line search on the area where I couldn't get volunteers across that river, the Hansappa River. Like I said, logistically it's hard, so I had to find a way to do it. And the way was to have the Rangers to do it. They was able to utilize their vehicles, their skills of search and rescue, and to be able to move across that terrain. They also circle around and work around the Pride Rock Mountain itself on foot up on that mountain peak, which I was there before in the past. My daughter and I, we first started searching. We searched that area as well, but it was great to have the Rangers out there looking and find. They found some remains. We're still sorting through those things. Everything we found so far, remain wise, is determined to be animal, except for the ones, like I said, are being looked at right now. So there are some few that the Rangers found that's currently being. I didn't get any feedback just yet. That's currently being looked at. Also, we had the all-terrain searches, and that when I say all-terrain, that was actually the what we call the hasty kind of search walk. Well, I call it a hiking group because what they did is they hiked also because, like I said, everything logistically was harder on that west side of the Hansappa River. So going straight across from where Daniel supposedly had went missing from the well, had people to hike through the Wagon of Wash and really dig down in that Wagon of Wash because we're unable to do so, like I said, utilizing just the ATV, UTVs. So I had them go through those brushes and really utilize their on foot skills to search for things in that way. So I really thank all 19 of those people that was out there doing the hike. Also, we had I'm sorry, that was the all-terrain vehicle. All-terrain vehicles, I go back. But the hasty searcher was 18 people, exactly what I was saying just now, doing that Wagon of Wash area. Like I said, to get deep in it, because, when water come down, things get brushed up against, almost like the brush is like a strainer and things get caught up in it. So they was out there doing those things in those islands and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that, you guys. Also, the all-terrain vehicles is where I wanted to go into. All-terrain vehicles was 19 vehicles. The guys went up north. 19 people went up north on the Hansappa River to go in this area to a certain area that I had designated. They supposed got out on foot, and they got on foot and go searching around there. They did find remains out there that turned out to be animals as well. But we had them on foot because specifically because of the movement that's in that area. I've been there many times before. There's beer cans. There are certain things you can tell there's people around at times. And so I want to make sure Daniel did get caught up with someone or some people that shouldn't, those types. But we was able to search that area. I was very good at some parts that had been taken off my map as well. So I'm really grateful. So what I'm saying, you guys, I'm hitting all these areas that is on the set the map that I really need to be hit. And so I'm really grateful for that. Again, the line searches, was 78 people. Had the long line search, double up. They went out over a mile or so away, and went down vertically towards the well site. So was able to get a lot of ground covered with that, you guys. Of course, I really appreciate, like I said, the dedication that people had out there. So we had 131 attendees out in this search for Daniel. Thank you guys, all 131 of you guys. I really appreciate it. God bless you, because like I said, what you have done Saturday was just like we had 500 people out there. So you guys had covered a lot of ground. You did a lot really, really thoroughly, and I really appreciate that. That's some of the things that took a lot of burden off my heart, especially in that area where they'll get ready to tear up. It takes a lot of burden off of me. Wondering if anything would be covered up, not just for Daniel, but for other people as well. Will be covered up because of the construction that's going on in the area. All right, I want to give special thanks to also to Mr. Pooley, as well as Mrs. Ronald Stodge here. I meant to put his name here as well. Also, Dr. Laura Widener from ASU as well. I really want to tell you guys thanks so much, because they've been part of the A team. The A team, my A team. I really appreciate you guys working at Command Center and doing an awesome job, getting everybody to sign in, sign out. Make sure everybody was safe, getting those medical conditions and things like that documented. Whatever the case may be, you guys have been doing an excellent job. I just wanted to tell you guys, thank you, all of you guys. And also, like I said, the honorary A-team members, Mr. Mark Pooley, Dr. Widener, also Mr. Ronald Stodgehill. I really appreciate it. Also, the Arizona Rangers. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. We had 6 line leaders. There's 3 on each row. Line leaders, but then we had, like I said, Dr. Widener and Mr. Pooley was also helping with that, keeping everybody from a distance safe. But really grateful for those line leaders who came out and stepped up and said they wanted to be line leaders and kept the line straight, put those holes up and things like that whenever something was located. So everything ran really smooth. The first line search and the second line search returned to the command center around 10:30. You guys were able to cover those grounds by 10:30, really early. We had a modified line search, meaning that after the search was over, you guys, we have people who were so dedicated and say, hey, I want to stay and continue this line search. So they went back out again. There's approximately 15 people returned out there to do more line search out there. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. You guys probably saw me had to go from group to group to group to group all day, and just have you guys step up and do those searches and things like that. Help me out and be able to go out and check on all the other volunteers at the same time, simultaneously. So I'm really grateful for you guys. Summary: Mr. Pooley did wrap up and bring the volunteers back to command center. So thank you, Mr. Pooley, for doing that. Like I said, Dr. Widener as well. Thank you so much. There was no report of medical issues or injuries, you guys. There have been some concern out there in social media. I can report for over 48 weeks of searches, you guys, we only had one incident. Well, I'll say about two. One was a person was just tired because they had some knee issues. They was walking with the cane, so they had to come back to command center to rest. The other, she did have a heat injury, and we had to bring her back at the time. That's why I'm saying, you guys, at the time I didn't have a command center up. I didn't have these certain things, but we did have a medic on the scene. But it was difficult to get her. I didn't have the equipment that I needed, which was the razor. That's why I'm telling you guys it's costly. It's costly. I had to have those equipments. I had to have certain things because of stuff like that would happen. It frightened me, you guys, to see her have with the heat injury. But we were able to get her cool. Was able to get her the electrolytes, the water, all the stuff that she needed to get her back on track. But the problem was for me is those was reasons why I halt the searches for this long until now, because until I had certain things in place, I was not going to have any more searches. Like, again, I'm not risking anybody just to go out there to search for my son. I want to make sure you guys are safe. So I can report that after all of these weeks of searches, there was some concerns and people have chatter out there in the public, whatever the case may be. We only had in 48 weeks of searches for Daniel. I'm thanking God for this, you guys. We only had 2 incidents. Like I said, one guy just needed a ride from his location back to the command center because he was tired because of, like a walk with a cane. The other, she did indeed have a heat injury, which she recovered very quickly. So Just wanted to tell you guys that. So I'm really grateful for just being able to say that. And make sure we're keeping everybody safe. The modified search group, approximately of 15 people, returned to the search area around 11:45 for the second line search. So they went back out there after, after the search was over. You guys, that's what I'm saying. That's a dedication. So you guys, I really appreciate those 15 people who decided to do more, to stay out there a lot longer, because they really saw the urgency that I need to find Daniel, and they was out there. It just shows so much dedication. So thank you guys for that. Summary also, Mr. Pooley did wrap up bringing the volunteers back to command center. There was no reported medical issues or injuries. Check in and check out. Everyone sat out except for 3 individuals. Like I told you guys on the safety briefing, we just needed everybody to sign in and out, because it would cause us to go out and look for you if you don't sign out. We've been out there and trying to contact you, we were making text message and call, but in a way, those people were accounted for. They were texted and all responded and reported safe. 3 to 4 people didn't sign out. Didn't sign in, but they signed out. So just want to tell you guys, if that's a future search, that's the reason why we do that, because we want to make sure everybody's safe. Arizona Rangers. Oh, let me go to the next. Arizona Rangers and Rescue had one person in their group. Had to rescue one person in that group. I don't know the extent of that is. I'm sure it's probably something like because they was utilizing their vehicles going across that Hacienda River and things like that. They most likely had some issues with getting stuck in the probably sand or something like that, because there's a lot of soft sand. If you don't have, I've seen people go out and say, "Hey," because we had to pull some people out of sand. They would say things like, "Oh yeah, I have a 4x4. This truck I got," because they love their truck. They paid a lot of money for, and it's not a true 4x4. And can't lock their differentials or whatever the case may be, and then they get out there on the Hacienda River and get stuck. So that's why we try to ask people. We can't go and tell you what you got, but we say, "Hey, look, make sure you have a true 4x4 vehicle. It's not a front wheel drive and things like that. Because that's logistically why we couldn't get people over." Again, we want to make sure you have those desert vehicles or some type of Jeep, like I said, 4x4 Jeeps and things like that, pickup trucks that can actually get across. I even seen Buckeye get stuck out there with their cruisers trying to go out there in that soft dirt, and go out there to soft dirt and pretend like you got a 4x4. But anyway, area search. Desert area was near the gate of Sun Valley Parkway. You guys. That's that's where the line searches are located. It's parallel to the well site where Daniel was reported last seen. The desert west of the well site, where Daniel was reported last seen, as you guys know, is the hikers and the ATV groups and all that was in that areas. The Pride Rock area around the area around and on the mountain of Pride Rock, that was done by the Arizona Rangers. The east side of Sun Valley Parkway, the west side of Hacienda River, south side of the crime scene. That was all done by drone operators. So overall, you guys, I'm really grateful to report that this has been such a successful search. When I say successful in terms of, of course we didn't find Daniel, thank God. As much as people may say, "Hey, I hope you find your son," I don't hope I find Daniel in that way. But if he's out there, definitely want to bring Daniel home. But success was to be able to cover those grounds that needed to be covered by the number of people that we had out there, the actual numbers that came out to search. So that was the successes of this whole search. So I really want to say, I want to put a couple pictures up. They're definitely not, these pictures are not in the order that I didn't have time to put them together like I like. There'll be more pictures, hopefully, by the Q&A this evening. You guys, I have pictures and videos and things like that for you to see with the searches. But these are a few pictures that was taken right at the beginning of the search for Daniel. So it's not the full pictures. Of course, it's not throughout the whole entire day. But when we got there and once we got set up, these are some early pictures early in that morning. So I just want to kind of share just a few of them with you, and we'll go from there. So let's see if I can get these up real quick here. And all right. I hope you guys can see that. But anyway, these are the pictures here. This is one of the ones off of the command center. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing linked over here. Let me go back this way here. But the command center, you guys, we had 2 tents set up, 2 canopies set up. The first canopy was where people come in. You can see the young lady standing there in front of me. She's coming in. We ask people as they come in to sign up. Of course, put your name in. So as people's coming in, these are the first people that was showing up to the search to come and sign in. If you guys had did it through Eventbrite, your name would be already on the list, and just go ahead and check your name off as well. So we had the volunteers just come up there and do that. Also, this is a couple pictures. Let's say it may not be in order and things like that, but this is also one of the Arizona Rangers. At the time when he and I was talking, he was presenting me some challenge coins that he had. Really was grateful for him and his team for going out and do the job, the extraordinary job that they did out there. So I really thank the Arizona Rangers for being out there again. They, like I said, they have been out in the past. When I first started the search for Daniel, the Arizona Rangers came out twice before. They cleared though we did try to clear the mine ourselves as a horizontal mine. We tried to clear it ourselves. We didn't get to go deep into it, and I can tell you because we were told by the Buckeye Police Department at the time that that was the mountain lion using that as a den. And of course, we didn't go all the way in. We went to a certain point and came back. But the Arizona Rangers was able to go all the way in there and to the very end and cleared that horizontal mine. So I want to thank the Arizona Rangers for that. This is more people as they was coming in that morning. Again, like I told you guys, wanted to be able to, make sure that everybody's signing. I want to go back real quick. Again, like I said about the second tent, you guys, that was one's for the sign in, the other one's for cooling. Safety was with the everything you need from electrolytes to water, and also, like I said, utilizing that for a cooling station, meaning that we don't want anybody with a heat injury to be out there. Make sure you're there, been taken care of. Also, when it comes to medic, I did have made that arrangement with Arizona Ranger. They all, some are paramedics, some are, have their things when it comes to that type stuff, being able to help a person in need of crisis. So that was that canopy was on the other side over there. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Also, this little closer shots. I think I try to skip these videos. Oh yes. Thank you, Nissa and Nissa husband. Thank you so much for being out there. You guys coming out with, I believe, from California. So thank you so much. So much love that you have shown here, even here on the Q&A. God bless you, you and your husband. Like I said, very extraordinary people. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Also, let's see if I can go past here. Of course, this little random pictures. I think was going out to kind of look around the area, trying to look for some clues and things. But this is when we was down near the crash site. You probably can see the glass sitting on the ground right here. We back out to the crash site. Dr. Widener and the team, Dr. Widener's team as well. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Starchier's team, the journalist, wanted to come out and get some pictures and things of the area where the vehicle was, the crime scene. This is the crime scene where the vehicle was found. So definitely want to get them out there. So I'm grateful for what they have done. Also, we have Dr. Widener. We have Kylie, her brother, and I say her brother and her husband. I really want to make sure Chad. I believe her brother Chad, and I can't remember her husband's name. He's gonna kill me, but I was really happy to see all of them out there as well to help support and do their stuff and utilize their expertise to help and search to find Dane. So I'm really grateful for all of them and everybody else who came out. So of course, this is the area where we found where the Rangers found some remains. We was at this point trying to determine if they were human. We was waiting on answers from I guess you call them pathologists or the person who can determine that. And so we were just sitting at that time having discussions until that point, until we get those answers. So that's one thing that from the Arizona Rangers who was able to find those remains. Also, you guys, there's some more pictures. I just want to kind of go through, but this is one of the mines I was talking about. The Arizona Rangers had cleared for us early on in the search for Daniel. Was kind of revisiting some of these areas, but this was cleared. I say in July or maybe the beginning of August, but sometime late July, we did clear this horizontal mine. What it does, what I'm understanding from the history of this mine is that the miners back in the days when there was a gold rush and things like that utilized this mine to sleep in at night. It kind of curves around. It goes both left and right. So you go all the way in there. It goes around under the earth there and it's dead into each other. And that is it. So, like I said, we was able to go to one side and kind of go far as we can, go to the other side, but we turned back around because of not sure if that so-called a mountain lion was there. But like I said, the Arizona Rangers last in 2021 was able to clear that one fully. Of course, thank you guys. This is my team. You guys can see the command center tent, canopy with Daniel's tablecloth and things like that. So just wanted to tell you guys, this is Gina, by the way, you guys. But thank you so much for being a part of this the search. But definitely the tablecloth and things like that. Where the command center people is able to sign in. As you see right here, is more people starting to show up. Do the sign up and things like that. Try to get people broken off into groups and stuff like that. So definitely just wanted to show y'all a little bit of pictures, a little bit of things that was going on. You had Dr. Widener's, Dr. Mr. Starshield team sitting in the back. We was getting ready to leave to go out to do some stuff out, just kind of find the other searches and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of throw out some of these pictures. I'm gonna put some stuff together, you guys, and really try to get some more videos. I have some videos. I just didn't put everything together. I don't want to come out kind of wrong. So we do have video footage. We have drone footage and things like that. So I just want to kind of throw some of those footages out so you guys can see those as well. Also, let me see here if I got people who are here this morning for the Q&A. I just want to say thank you guys for coming out this morning. Who I have here, Morning Dove. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for being here this morning. I really, truly appreciate you coming out to join the Q&A this morning. Also, Tracy Kunzini. Thank you so much, Kunzini. I want to say that correct. Thanks so much for coming out this morning. Good morning to you as well. Thank you, Lois, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you being a moderator as well. Have been working very hard, trying, keeping the chats going smoothly. So thank you so much for being here. Twistina, thank you again for constantly coming out, to this Q&A and supporting as well. Thank you, Sands as well for being here. I really appreciate it. Good morning to you. Also, thank you, Unlimited Earth. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again, Anissa. It was wonderful to meet you and your husband. I really appreciate you being out there in the search out there. I really appreciate it. God bless you for everything you do, your husband, and also this constant support here on the Q&A with the super chat. So thanks so much. Good morning, Mr. Robinson and fellow chats. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Team Wildflower, for continuing to come out and support this channel. God bless you. I really appreciate you for that, doing that. Also, and it was nice meeting you as well. Thank you, Sophia, for being here this morning, of course. Moderator, team, board member. I really appreciate you, friend. So thank you so much for being here this morning. Nikki, thanks for being here as well. Good morning to you. Thank you, Shauna, for being here as well as you get board member, team member, friend, and also being here in the chats. Take care of everything, administrator in the chat. So I really appreciate it, Shauna, for all your hard work and getting those numbers together, and things like that. So I thank you so much for that. All right. Let's see who else I got here. Okay, thank you so much for being here as well. I really appreciate you guys for coming out to this Q&A. I really appreciate it. Thank you, James, for being here as well. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys for giving the thumbs up and things like that. When I started this Q&A off this morning, and I saw my screen frozen, I said, "Oh boy, this is not going to start off right." So sometimes I have those issues. You guys notice that on this Q&A, I'm still working with trying to get this bandwidth right and trying to get the StreamYard to work correctly. I almost want to go try a different platform to see if that's the issue or not. I even got closer to the modem and things like that to try to get everything running smoothly. So I'm gonna keep trying to make sure I get it right. Thank you, Barry, for being here. I really appreciate it so much for you being also a team member, a board member, as well as a friend. I really appreciate that. and also an admin for the chat. So God bless you for being here and all the hard work and efforts that you do to help me find my son and the love that you put into it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Also, Anissa, again, thank you so much. Let's see who else I got here. Ruthie, thank you so Ruthie for being here. Hello, and hope you have a great day. I hope you have a wonderful day yourself. I really appreciate you coming out and for this Q&A. Let's see who else I got here. Lola, thank you so much. Yeah, you can see in here. Thanks so much for giving that information early on. Lola, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Amy, as well. I thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining in to help me understand that everything cleared up once I got it going. So thanks so much, Amy, for being part of this Q&A from the Facebook side. Also, Esther, thank you so much again. Thank you, Larnell. I really appreciate it. Thank you, brother, for being a friend, also a moderator, also, of course, a board member. 18. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, brother. God bless you. Lois, thank you so much for always moderating and being here, support, being a friend as well. I really appreciate you from North Carolina. Also, you guys, thank you, Lois, for putting us out. You guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button if this is your first time. Please, because that helped the channel grow. You guys got me up to 2.42 thousand subscribers. I need more. And reasons why, because that helped the channel grow, helped me get Daniel's story out farther. Like I told you guys, my effort's not just the desert. It's not just the thousands of flyers that I'm getting put out across this country. It's also keeping Daniel's story alive. And, one of the biggest things for me is to make sure my son case is not cold, because it's not cold, guys. I have so much. I'm just waiting on, sometimes I'm waiting on law enforcement to catch up on certain things that I already know. They know they're not saying anything, but I tell you what, their actions not going towards those things that need to be solved. So there's a lot of leads there. There's a lot of things that's unresolved, and my son's case is far from being a cold case. And the only way they can you treat it like a cold case if people lose interest and move on. And so I want to make sure that that don't happen in my son's case, and that's why I'm fighting. You guys, guys can help me along with that by hitting that like, share, subscribe, sharing Darren's story, talk about it, whatever the case may be. Call somebody, whatever. Tell your neighbors, your friends, your family. Tell them to call somebody. Word of mouth is the biggest tool that we got. It's bigger than anything on social media, bigger than whatever. There's always been and always will be the biggest way of communication is word of mouth, sharing it with another person. So please hit the like, share, and subscribe, get the algorithms going to get this channel out a lot farther. Thank you, Gina, for coming out to the search as well. You always out there. You're always doing line search. I think this time you did the hiking, so I really appreciate you doing that in those areas. But you always, your team as well. You also a friend of mine, so I really appreciate you for all the hard work when it comes to the thousands of flyers that you help put out there in the community, everywhere in Arizona. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in on this Q&A as well. Let's see who else I got here. Shauna, thanks for putting the information up. Stay up to date with Dan's case, follow social media, and visit the website. And Shauna put this information here. You guys, I put the YouTube on all the social media platforms, and the reason why I did that is because I want to make sure everybody have the opportunity to see some of the things what the moderators put out, like Shauna. Because if you're not on the YouTube side, you may be on the Facebook side, you may miss some of those chat conversations and things like that. So I just want to make sure you guys aware that you want to see more chats, you want to be able to communicate with other people that I'm putting up on the screen and things like that. It's more on the YouTube side that it works that way. So you'll see with the moderators are moderating off the YouTube side. Also, if you don't have YouTube, I understand, go ahead and utilize Twitter and stuff. That's why I have that there as well. L. Siebert, thank you so much for being here. David, are you aware of any connections with the big drug bust by Tempe police and the area Daniel worked? No, I did not hear anything about it. I will look into that as well, but no, I didn't know anything about that one. So thanks so much for bringing that up to our attention, because I know my team is hearing about it. Also, thank you, Heels in the Air. Thank you so much for being here as well, coming in, supporting this channel as you do. I really appreciate you. Also, thank you again. I don't want to mess up the name, so call them out. That's right. You got to always call out wrong, right? Stand up for wrong. I think the late John Lewis said, you see something wrong, say something. You cannot sit down and be quiet. That's why, you guys, I am moving towards some other things, some other areas in my life that I'm planning to do to try to make a difference. You guys will be hearing about things like that pretty soon. So just wanted to say that, hey, my fight for um, my cause, and not just for to find my son, but to help other families as well. And that's what those things will be. You guys will learn more about that pretty soon. So I just want to say thank you so much, you guys, for constant support, sharing your stories and things like that, because we got to do better. We got to get law enforcement to do better when it comes to handling missing persons cases, especially in states like Arizona, Hawaii, Alaska, New York, California. Just just have a lot of missing person cases, and that they need to stop. So, if you see something, say something. Or if you hear something, speak up. Excuse me, guys. If you hear something, say something. If you see something, if you see something, say something, please. If you see something, hear something, you got to say something. Basically, what Sean was saying here, you guys. Give me a second. I also do a whole lot of talking, you guys, so sometimes my throat get dry. So, but thank you so much for hanging in there, and thank you, Shauna, for definitely for putting this information out as well. Like I said, you guys, that's what the tip line is for on the bottom. It's not for everybody who don't know us. It's definitely for the person who knows something. Direct information. I do get a lot of tips on the tip line, you guys, all the time. But it'd be suggestions people want to give. I guess I get it. People can't get in contact with me a lot of times. It's not, because I'm really busy. Not that I ignore anybody. It's just that I get so busy that I can't even check my own inboxes and stuff like that quickly. I won't get to them, but it takes a long time, a lot of times. So I get that, but I get a lot of things like that, people's suggestions and what they think and things like that. But I'm looking for those persons to utilize that tip line for information, that direct information that would bring my son home. So, definitely that's what that tip line is for. That's what I paid for. That's what I need, you guys. So if you know direct information, utilize that number. If you don't know direct information, it's not necessary for you. That's other avenues you can contact with me. Unfortunately, that don't mean when I say unfortunately, if it takes too long for me to respond through the email and also the public cell phone number. But this is a tip line number, you guys, and like I said, if you have direct number and knowledge, and you watch my Q&A, you watch me for over a year pleading, trying to find my son, doing everything I can, fighting. When I say fighting the slowness of law enforcement, whatever the case may be. You see all of that, and you're not saying anything. That's tragic. So if you please, if you have information, that's what the tip line is for. You can remain anonymous. You don't have to talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to talk to somebody, you can. Like I said, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. Live operators will take your call. They will allow you to be anonymous. But like I said, if you don't want to talk to anybody, like I just want to talk to anybody, I want to leave this tip, talk to anybody. You don't even have to pick up. The only thing you do is get a burner phone if you have to. But all you have to do is text the word tip to that phone number, the same phone number that you see right here on the screen. Text the word tip to it. The form will come up. You ain't talking to nobody. And you just fill out that form and say, you still could say, I want to remain anonymous. And I promise you guys, a lot of people who just leave me tips that say, hey, I think you should go check so and so and so on because I believe blah, 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 and they stay anonymous. And I don't know who they are, what I'm saying? But I tell you what, they leave these messages, these long messages where they want to say, and you need to go see a psychic or whatever the case may be. They want to do those are not tips. The kind of tips I'm looking for, you guys, for that tip line. No, when I say for that tip line, I'm not looking for that kind of tip. But they stay anonymous. I can't call them and say, "Hey, can you take that kind of information and put it to YouTube?" I mean, Yahoo. Send to the email address, whatever email. Send it through the email and also through the phone. I cannot even write them back or talk to them direct because they remain anonymous. I don't know who they are, but a lot of times I get those kind of things. So it does work. In other words, it works. So you guys remaining anonymous and things like that. So it's just that I just need the kind of information that's actually direct and we bring my son home. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm out here fighting for, you guys. So, Twistina, thanks so much for being here as well. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it is wonderful. It's wonderful for all those came out. I do have a question here from Unlimited Earth. Carts and I are wondering. First of all, I'm really grateful to Carts. So when you say that name, I'm glad he was out there. And I are wondering if the leg bone we discovered was further analyzed. Was it determined to be animal? Now, I don't know, Unlimited Earth, which bone it was, because whenever you guys have found those things, Dr. Widener, that's what she was out there for. She had those things, you know, able to be looked at quickly. We didn't have to actually go through Buckeye this time. So from what I was told, like, if you got more information about that, please hit me up on the email. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. Because if there's some concerns about that and you have those coordinates still and you have those that pictures, I would have to look at it again because I'm not sure. Only thing I know when things come back to me when I was out there is from you guys find things like that, those remains. They were looked at. Dr. Widener had them looked at through from, I think you call them pathologists or whatever we call from that science to determine what they were. Was it determined to be animal? As far as I know, everything so far we found out there, except for what the Rangers have outstanding, was all animal bones. Not expert, but after our own research, we couldn't eliminate it as human. So yes, like I said, if you still have it, I would like to have Dr. Widener and whoever, and also Buckeye, Maricopa County, because that's where it goes anyway, to determine that as well. So if you have those, please send it out to me, and we'll have them look at it again. Also have, let's see, Pacific Breeze. Thank you so much for your question. Have you interviewed with Ken again to this point? No, I haven't heard from him. The only time I talked to Ken was that, like I said, a few days after Daniel went missing, when I got to Arizona, and when I got there, it was one of the major things I wanted to do. The first things I do, I'm a grown man, and some other grown man go tell me something about my son, and that I know is not his character, right? So I had to look this guy in the face. So that's the only time I talked to Ken ever. What I did expect, the way he was talking and the way the report was done for him, would make he was so concerned about my son. He was very, oh man, if I only knew the mannerism of your son. There's things he was talking to me about. And if he was so concerned, so you would think that he would have been doing everything he can to go out and help me search for my son. He said he went out to the streams of going across the desert to drive and get out and trace tracks, and he stayed left of them, not disturbed, because this thing's gonna be big and it's gonna go national. The police gonna come and gonna go big and go national. It did. Like, he had some premonition that, or some forethought that actually came true. But he went through all the streams of traveling and walking and going on top of hills, spraying rocks with red paint and all kind of stuff he was doing, and not one time came out to a search. Right. So those are the things right there. So then contact me and say, hey, hey, look, man, I wish I can do more, or whatever, just something, right? So this is well before I started digging into his story and started finding out, just looking at it deeply and say, hey, no, his story is that's for the information. I found out that his timeline didn't go with Daniel's phone records. So, we didn't get the locate stuff, but we can use other things to get information. So, but no, I haven't talked to him since. I don't know whoever talked to him since, but I just know that every time I talk to law enforcement in the past, they say, "Oh, we spoke to him." Like I told you guys, the most irritating and humiliating situations is when they put me and my daughter in the interrogation room. Why the police department have us come in the back door and put us in the interrogation room and have us and look at Daniel's cell phone records and have me call USAA Bank in the interrogation room while they're just listening, right, and looking. I have never been in an interrogation room in my life. I'm not a criminal. I don't do, anything. So I didn't know what it was, an interrogation room, until hindsight, and I realized that's exactly what it was, right? So you take in a family and put them in an interrogation room, and talking to them, and bring us through the back door. Bring us through the back door. So the thing is, you guys, I have never to this point read anything or heard anything from law enforcement saying that they ever took Ken in there, the last person that seen my son, to an interrogation room. Anybody else who was associated, I'm not gonna say their names, in an interrogation room. The young lady to this date, my son said he spent the night in that house with two young women in that house. We only heard of one name, you guys. The other one is still kept a secret, right? And so the thing is, and my son told me that directly. That's what he said to me 2 days before he went missing. So the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, no, I have not Pacific Breeze talked to Ken or anybody after that point. My investigator, I assume he did. He said he did speak to him, or I think he did at the time when he was hired by me. But so far, I don't know. Also, thank you so much, Turbo, for being here. You guys have any questions, please put the capital letter Q, the question marks, or the word question before your question, and I can easily find out those questions. 'Cause I don't want to skip over Turbo, but I'm going to read this, and I don't know if there's a question or not, but I told you that I would sign the petition, but wasn't allowed to because I don't have Facebook, Twitter, or Telegram. So I'm putting this here to let everyone know that I do support your petition. And thanks so much, Sam. I really don't know how that would work without the emails and things. I think it just need an email. I don't know about the Facebook part to sign the petition and or the social media type stuff, but I do know you need an email address. So if you have an email address, Turbo Sam, you can sign the petition. You go to change.org or just go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit the petition button, and it'll take you to that change.org page for Daniel. And you just need an email. You just need an email. You don't need the social media stuff. You just need your email address. If you have multiple, for everybody, you have multiple email address, you can do it multiple times. But sometimes it asks you to verify your petition sign with your email address. So when you sign up, you still go to email and make sure you don't hit. Sometimes it asks you to verify, your email address or whatever case may be. So you need to do that too to complete it, you guys. So your number can count. Gizzle case, you made me aware of that kind of thing. So, but you can do it multiple times. The way I said, the more email addresses you got and you want to do it that way, it's like your voice is amplified. You guys, you'll start seeing some things. I keep saying it. I really want to put some information out on that petition, because that petition also is going to help me in my next endeavor. And there's some other things I will be doing. I'll be bidding for is to try to do what I can, change. Like I told you guys, I believe in faith. Faith is an action word for me. And to do anything, if you're doing it by faith, you got to put some actions behind it. So I want to see some changes. I'm going to put some actions behind it. Again, so thanks so much, Turbo Sam, for putting that up. Excuse me. Also, you guys, let's see who I got here. If you got, like I said, questions, please, by all means, hit the word question first. Question mark, the word question, capital letter Q. That'll help. I don't know why I'm choking so much this morning, you guys. Every child should be blessed with a father like. Thank you. I really appreciate that for your continued health. I need that. You hear me coughing right now. I definitely need that continued health. Much appreciated. Your personal update. Many thanks to all those who are there for you and helping your search. Excuse me. Thanks so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. And you hit it right on the nail when I read that. I'm at the coughing and everything, so you guys apologize. So reason I'm having my throat getting dry, talking a lot. So I may have to cut the Q&A a little short. I'm starting to feel that. But you know what? Thank you guys so much for that. And thank you for wishing health. I would definitely need that. Also, thank you, Linda, for being here. Has anyone checked on the area of LIDAR? Never heard of it. So if that's somewhere near Sun Valley Parkway or have any relations to where Daniel went missing, then we will be most likely looking into that as well. So thank you for pointing that out. I'll try to make sure I write that down and have that name, because I am not familiar with that name. So I would put that name down. Excuse me, guys. I'm really choking here. But thank you so much for putting that down, the information. Um, Also, thank you, Anissa, again. I really appreciate it. You coming out, you and your husband. It was really nice meeting you all, being a part of the search, and for the fact that you traveled so far to do so. So I really appreciate it. Sean, it was so great to meeting you all. We definitely cross paths again. The search doesn't end until we have found Daniel, and I really appreciate it. And I really believe that from you. Just like you are sincere on this Q&A, people may not know. Met you in person. You're very sincere, even in person, even on the ground, even more so you and your husband. So I really appreciate it, you guys. Yeah, I definitely, guys. I think I may have to get off this Q&A this morning. Trying to push it. See here. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'm putting this up real quick for the question. Thank you, Terry. Strength, love, and respect to David and family. Bring Daniel home. Thanks so much, Terry, for being here off the YouTube side. Also, I have a question for Anna. Thank you again. Hi, sir. Is there any possibility that he been kidnapped and being held hostage or got taken to a different location? And yes, there's anything possible. There's some things always been one things in our mind. I have gentleman. I don't know if you want me to say it out here, but he was like a third investigator for me. Not necessarily hired on by me, but he's a friend of mine. He's a PI himself. That's some of the things that he threw out to me as well, because of the area where my son was missing is a corridor for some of those kind of type activities. So that's always been one of those things that always been taken consideration. And you know what? That's why I say, you guys. But I do know that foul play happened, and that goes back to Anna, where when I say I can't, the definition of foul play could be things like that. That's foul play, taken against your will, held hostage, whatever the case. I mean, that's foul play, and I can't not understand, you guys. And I'm telling you guys from the public, that should be a public outrage about this. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say we cannot let our foot off the law enforcement's back, because I'm telling you why. If you guys look at the scene, when my team and I finished putting our report in, you guys, we get this thing together and we put a report. I'll call it a family report, the Robinson family report. Everything will be put in sync with it. We got recordings to you name it, right? Put everything in order. And one of the things that's problematic for me when I look at law enforcement is all of this hard evidence. What else do you need? What else do you need to even call my son's case a criminal case, right? I mean, what it takes when you have hard physical evidence that Buckeye refused to accept, you guys. You have statements and testimony from the guy who actually found the vehicle. They refusing to accept. Certain little things, the information where things were done wrong. You go to other law enforcement agencies to get it done right. And the only thing they're doing is try to do everything they can in their power to help Buckeye, help the Blue, because I don't want to step on their toes. My son is missing. Damn their toes. Smash them. I don't care. But the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, well, I'm sorry, you guys, I would get uptight. But you know what? There's a lot of information out there, and Anna, and I wish I could say a lot more, but that's a lot of information out there that suggests a lot of things. So when I say foul play, foul play could be defined as many, many things, right? So one of the things is we know from my investigator, hard, tangible evidence again, that vehicle was planted there. That's a crime scene, you guys. It was planted there. There is a crime scene also because we found a human skull right there by it. Crime scene, right? That they're refusing. FBI refusing to call it. They let this project go because of millions of dollars. Think about this, guys. Millions of dollars mean more than human lives or anything else, people feelings, whatever the case may be. Because they're going here with a project, don't have no water, so on and so on and so on. And I'd be damned if I'm gonna step on that project, because there's a lot of human remains out there, and people say, hey, man, well, I want to live out there with all these dead bodies out there or something. I don't know. But the thing is, law enforcement, I'm saying you guys have all this hard evidence of foul play and refusing to look at Dane's case. Still to this day, they're doing everything in humanistically possible to say to the public, yeah, ain't nothing but a missing person. We can do about it. It is a missing person case. That's what they're aiming for. They're constantly. And that's what I get in the background all the time. As much as they say they did, they go out and do another search. They go out and do blah, blah, blah. And they still haven't changed the state of the case. I've been crying and begging them to move my son's case. Buckeye's literally holding my son's. You talking about hostage, Anna? The Buckeye Police Department is constantly, to this day, holding my son's case hostage, you guys. Holding it hostage. I literally asking them to put my son's case over to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, who can handle that case, who can do the forensics. They haven't done to this day. I'm still holding on to the forensics, you guys. Still paying this big high bill to house evidence that they gave over to me, and they holding it hostage because of their pride and everything else, so they can show the public we're doing a good job, and we're going to put this thing on social media. Or we got the search we did, and it's not even they search, it's a Maricopa County thing. We did a search or whatever the case may be. It's all about their image and who they are and this and that, and make themselves look good and all this kind of. My son is missing, and they're holding my son's case hostage, and had the audacity to use my son as some kind of his case as some kind of thing for missing person day. That was very offensive as well. All the terrible things they did in my son's case, damage wise, they will actually use him as their prop for missing persons day, his case as a missing persons case on their social media platforms, just to try to make themselves look good. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, you guys. I don't care about feelings and all the stuff. Stop holding my son's case hostage when you know you messed it up, and and the other law enforcement know they messed it up. But at the same time, they're just wrong. Like I told you guys, people are wrong by association. They come out and they got these laws saying if you get caught, you get pulled over, and you didn't know this person had a smack trunk full of drugs, and it's not yours, or you driving their car, you didn't know it was in there, you going to prison for the rest of your life almost for something that ain't yours. You say, hey, this is not mine. This is my friend's car. I didn't know he had this in there, which this is true. But they say you're going by association. Period. No question asked. What happened to them by association when they're seeing another law enforcement agency is doing wrong, and they, instead of doing the right thing to try to get things done correctly, they try to help them out, to help them look good somehow. Try to help the department out. Like, really? No, by association, you're just a bad department yourself by doing that. So that's the thing is, so that's the things I'll be fighting against, you guys. Some kind of changes have to go with a lot of things, not just for what happened to me and my family, but for what's happening to other families as well. So that's kind of stuff gets me really uptight. All right. So also, Wendy, thanks so much for being here. Wendy Evans. I don't know if it would be beneficial, but there is a group private investigation for missing. They might be able to provide some assistance. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Wendy, for the information. And as well as being here on the YouTube side, I really appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you, Arizona Rangers. Yes, I say that again. Thank you, Coco Puff, for being here. The Arizona Rangers did really well. Also, thank you so much, Danielle. Not anything serious, but I did an anonymous tip, and they didn't ask for my name or anything. It was 100% anonymous. Please call if you know something. And I'm glad you said that. You feel so much better, and I thank you so much. I'm not sure if you're one of the ones that actually put those comments there, but yes, I really truly believe that, because I don't get information. That's the whole point. Like you said, Danielle, I don't get information on most of these things people put on that tip line. It's not the kind of tips I'm looking for, but there are a lot of people that put information out and things they want to say to me or whatever case may be, and I don't know who they are. There's some that actually is non-anonymous. I mean, they don't want to be anonymous. They actually say, hey, yeah, you can talk to me, and we have back and forth conversation. When I say back and forth conversation, meaning that if they say something that's close to something that made me think they may know something, yeah, we have conversation back and forth. Sometimes I still don't know who they are, but they have conversation, and so far I found that there are people that don't have any direct information about what happened to my son. So, Unlimited Earth, excuse me, question. Yes, thanks so much for your question. First of all, yes, I still have a photo. Had a photo of the coordinates of the bones in questions. I submitted it on the website as well. And if you did, thanks so much. We will be getting that. So thanks so much. That comes to the email as well. So if you did that, that means Buckeye received it. Buckeye Police Department has received it. So if you did it through the website, so they have it, and they should be making a determination. That let me know I don't have to send it to Buckeye or anybody because they already have it. But I will look at it myself. So I want to let you know that as well. It was not looked at by the forensic scientists doing the search. I will email it to you. Thank you. You can do that as well. But yeah, I'll look at it through from what you put on the website as well as if you email it to me, that'll help too. So, but yes, definitely know that the Buckeye Police Department have that. So if all else fails, you know that Buckeye have it. And I can tell everybody here in the public they have it. As a matter of fact, it goes straight to a Detective Biffin, you guys, if you're wondering. All right, so there you go. Pacific Breeze, thank you for answering my question. Ken is a key, is a key somehow. The call telling Daniel not to come, they're really that really bothers me. The fuel truck needs to be tracked down. Something is just off about this. And the funny thing about it, you guys, my son went to the first well site according to the story. And I had to say story because there's all things we know at the time because I'm still waiting on certain things. And one thing they mentioned, which it was true, my son did have a purchase from that gas station for a small amount of money. But Buckeye Police Department give a picture of the video like they did with the Waffle House. Waffle House said they don't give pictures of the video. So they literally did that to me. But anyway, I got information just from their pictures as well. That's questionable things they have to answer up to. But the thing is, with the Waffle, with the gas station, this purchase, I think it was less than $5. My son, first of all, was driving SUV. He definitely didn't put it in his tank. I didn't see, and if it's gas cans, there were no gas cans present in his vehicle. But Daniel do have gas cans at his apartment. He didn't have in that vehicle that day. It was on his patio. So definitely he didn't have no gas can unless he bought a new one. And where was it? Where did the gas can go? It's not in his vehicle, like I said. So, and the reason why I know that because it wasn't something he put in his car, even with the picture, because Daniel's gas tank is on the opposite side of the where they had the vehicle facing at the gas pump. It was on the opposite side, you guys. It was on the opposite side, and I'm like, okay, well, he definitely didn't pump no gas if that's his vehicle. Then it's amazing how the Buckeye Police Department are readily to say that's Daniel's Jeep at this gas pump, right? And it's really blurry. It got the shape of Daniel's vehicle, just like the vehicle that had the shape of Daniel's vehicle that was on the side of the road 2 days before they magically put it in the desert, right? And Buckeye was really quick to come out and say it's not Daniel's vehicle because there's a blurry picture. So, but when it's convenient for them, they go with it. All right. So the thing is, but yeah, the tank is on the other side. So it wasn't Daniel getting no fuel for Ken or whatever the case may be. Something's just not right. But the whole point is, like you said, he was asking him not to. And that's the only thing that and the funny part about it, Daniel did not answer that call. It was a voicemail. And I still have that voicemail. It was a voicemail asking him not to come out just yet. Right. I don't know why, and and if you keep analyzing that more and more using common sense, you guys, now, a couple of things. I'm just starting to come to my brain right now. Couple of things. The story is from Matrix New World and also from Ken himself and from others that Daniel had never been in this area before, never met Ken. Ken came out his own mouth, said, I never met him before in my life. Don't know him, right? But it's kind of funny that his name is in Daniel's phone. It's listed. So when you look at his number, it's not like a blank number, you guys. His name, Daniel put his name, it programmed his number in the phone, right? Number, his phone number, right? So I can't say he didn't do it right there as soon as the guy called or said, he said, oh, man, that's Ken or something, I don't know. That may be him and I'm put the number down after I heard the voicemail or something. I don't know. But I'm saying, but he don't know the guy, right? So, and the only thing the guy did said that hey, I'm Ken. He didn't say, I don't know if he said it last night. I can't remember hearing that in the voicemail. But the whole point is, Daniel did try to call him back. That call went unanswered. I'm looking at these seconds, guys. I could tell it was an answer call, and I didn't say it on his phone record, right? But the thing was that they had never gotten in contact with him. They never had a phone call. They never had a conversation on the phone the whole entire time. It was a back forth thing at first, and then Daniel eventually sent a text message before his last call. How do you get there? It's the text message, right? Asking how to get there. It was almost 9 o'clock at the time. Ken did not answer. Did not send him a text message back. Did not send him a phone call. Nothing, right? And then, according to Ken, he made it there magically, I guess, because they didn't even call nobody else either, by the way. I want to let you guys know that. It ain't like he called a job or text a job, say, well, how you get there? And they sent the information to him or something. No, nobody. He ain't called for nobody, literally. So the thing was, after he sent that text message, he got no call from anyone. But somehow he made it to that website at 9 o'clock, right? They made it to Sunville Parkway and made it to this website at 9 o'clock. And 9:15 was gone, but then they sent a call again. Call again. The only person. He did not answer. There must be an answer or something going on. There was a voicemail that he left, but it was a couple. I could tell you the time length because I'm really doing this investigation for that part. But that was a short time length. I'll just put it that way. And so Daniel, obviously, the way I take it, if you're going to send a text message and the person didn't answer you at all, this thing you're going to do is call the number, right? At 9:28. He was already gone, according to Ken. He's already gone, never to be seen again. But he called again. But Ken did not answer that, did not call Daniel back his phone until like 3 or something in the afternoon. Late in the afternoon, when everybody knew that something was wrong with Daniel and they're looking for him and all this kind of stuff. That's when. And he said it was raining. All this rain and carrying on. But yet he was able to go out later that day. He said to watch everybody else trap but Daniel's. Right. That's what he said. When Daniel drove off in that morning, according to him, at 9 o'clock before 9:15, he drove off, and I guess it must have had to be raining or something first, washed the tracks away, and then Daniel drove, at 9 something when he was leaving there, and his tracks went right towards out the west side of the desert, right? That's what he's saying, right? And it must have stopped raining or something, because I'm trying to make some sense of that for him, because it don't make sense. Here it is. Was it raining right then or was it not raining? Because you hear different stories from him. So if it washed everybody else's track and Daniel was traveling down there to wash his tracks away too, he would not be able to determine which direction to go. It was talk fresh tracks. So we don't know when it was raining, if it was raining, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see no rain in the forecast, but nevertheless, we got this rain argument. I put it up on the Q&A before. They said it wasn't raining that day. But nevertheless, that's the story. All right, you guys, let me see who else I got here. Thank you, Nissa, again. Let's see. Wendy, thank you again. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Tammy. Thanks so much for being here off the YouTube side. I've been watching this. I think they're looking in the wrong spot. If you can find where the car was at the first time before where it was found. And, Tammy, in my investigation, I did do some searching and things like that. I had a specialized search in that area where the vehicle was found first before it was planted in the desert, right? And it's sad. I'm telling you guys, it's sad to watch law enforcement purposely not wanting to get that, and that's the only way I can take it. To me, it's purposely, because you know what? For a person like myself who don't have that technology, don't have certain things, it's impossible for me to believe that law enforcement can see these parallels and see these things that are happening and the common sense of it, and that they have to literally be purposely ignoring certain things to keep that narrative going that Daniel's just a missing person, right? And even if he is a missing person, I don't mean that you don't supposed to go look for him. And we pay taxes, and Daniel paid taxes, and we asking them to do that. So that don't give them an excuse for not looking for him. What I'm saying is, it's not giving them, they're not actually going out and looking at it on a criminal and find out detective work and find out what somebody did to my son, right? And see the foul play and see what they did and backtrack and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm telling you guys, where that vehicle was found on the side of the road 2 days before it showed out in the desert, before it was planted there in that crime scene. It was on the side of that road. It was on the side of that road. Um, no matter what Buckeye is saying, that's exactly what it is. I'm gonna tell you the ironically to that same vehicle. The guy who found it said the same thing. It dawned on me everything that when I went back and see what he said. He talked about the two impressions on the windshield. He talked about the damage on the front. I'd be damned. Excuse my expression. The vehicle that was planted on my son's vehicle that's out in the desert on July 19th had the same damage. Two impressions on the windshield, damage on the front end. That was the vehicle sitting on the side of the road, right? And then the thing is, you guys, that area, I went to go to the first well site to try to find out what that well site looked like and all that. So I got the information from Dan's job to go out to that well site. But at the same time, that same particular day, I wanted to go back to that spot because I've been there before, you guys. Go back to that spot where the vehicle was found on the side of the road, right? That was going to be my second stop. I was going to go to the well site first and then go to the spot. Every day when I put the directions in to get to the well site, guess what happened, you guys? You have to pass the spot just to get to that well site. Ain't no other way around it. You got to pass the spot to get to that first well site where that vehicle was found on the side of the road. And then on the way back, there's no way around it. You got to pass that spot to get back out of there. You got to. There's no way around it. How ironic is that? You know? And then 2 days later, when I asked Buckeye who towed the vehicle where they would not to this day let me know. Oh, your son's vehicle's found in the desert. This way I'm taking it, you guys. Magically, it showed up in the desert. Here it goes. And not only that, tell the rancher, don't tell the media, don't tell the family that this vehicle was found. That was just direct instructions from the Buckeye Police Department to this guy. Don't tell them nothing. We're going to keep this thing a secret, basically. Whatever they're doing that whole entire day, I don't know. But I do know that they came to me over 24 hours later, even though I'm on the ground with volunteers. We were doing a rescue mission at the time, you guys. And they refused to let me know that my son's vehicle was found. And did have the common courtesy to show me where it was located out there in the desert, take me out the desert to find it. They called me into a parking lot, didn't let me in the building, put me in the parking lot, lean against his cruiser, and showed me 3 things, 2 maps and 1 picture. Disrespectful stuff. I'm telling you guys, they are very disrespectful. And then the same weekend, Chief Hall shows up to my search. Without letting me know, just pop up and start grandstanding about the cartels and stuff. It's trying to me, I take it selling me a story that the cartels probably did something to my son. And then at the same time, pointing at the wrong place and things like that, saying, hey, look, like they want me to know that the vehicle's here. Like, I'm selling you the story. The vehicles are here. This is where we found it. So it could be staying in my head, that type deal. And that's where I take it. I'm telling you guys, this is my opinion, the way I'm feeling now. This is my own personal feelings about it. And I didn't like that. When I look at it in hindsight, I don't like that. And it didn't, Chief Hall never ever to this date came out to my searches ever again. It came just that one time, in my opinion, to sell me the story and gone. And that's the way I took it. That's exactly the way I took it. And I'm taking it to this date the same way. I feel that way, you guys, because there's no more concern about it. You ain't coming up to no more searches. You're not coming out there, to support. But you came that one time, that weekend after the vehicles planted out there in that desert, according to my investigating all the hard evidence that's there. Yeah, you came out that time. The rancher came out too. But you came out that time, that once ever for 48 weeks, one time. Just a grandstand in front of all the volunteers I had out there and show them disrespectfully too. With me and my daughter, never ever took the time to show me and my daughter alone, or my family alone, where this vehicle's found out there in the desert. I had to find out that way. It was so doggone humiliating, watching all these people walking in front of us like we're nobody, and he pointing out like he's Moses on a rock or something, pointing down the ravine, talking about that's where my son's vehicle was found, which was wrong because the rancher was out there too, automatically showed up as well. And say, now I don't know what Chief Hall talking about. He was yelling too. It was found over here, and he was right because the glass was on the ground. And Chief Hall turned red in the face, took off, never seen again. So that type deal. So you know what, you guys, those things bother me when I keep thinking about it over and over again. those things really bother me when it comes to those narratives. Those are kind of things you will see in the family report. Those timelines, the recordings, the everything will be out there for public consumption. For journalists and everything else. All right, got let's see here. Let me see who else I got here. Thanks, Shauna, for putting this information up. Like the text, range. Thanks so much, you guys, for putting for all the moderators who putting things down and taking care of the people in the chat. So I really appreciate that. Let's see. Thank you so much, PM Channel. Thanks so much, Bia. It's incredible to see the amount of people who came out to the search. Very touching to see how many truly care. You all care. Even the ones who could not make it to the searches, you guys care too. You guys are sharing Dan's story. You're talking about Dan's story. You're supporting this channel. I know I talk about the same things over and over again, but you still come. And I really appreciate it, you guys. Very touching. So you're just the biggest part is the people who physically come out to these searches. Not everybody able or will able to come out to searches and under their circumstances or whatever it may be. But you're definitely here in your own way supporting. So I really thank you all too who not been to the searches, who've been searching, who've been helping me with my son's case. One way or other, even just giving comments is helping with my son's case and keep me going, keep me fighting, keep my boots on the ground. You guys been donating, for instance, keep my boots on the ground in Arizona. Keep me searching, keep me getting flyers out, all that stuff, So it's just very touching to see how many people willing to do it. Yes, it's a lot of people that actually come out, and they come from all over the place. PM Channel, from different states to state, it's amazing. Every time it catch me a lot, saying when I see people that I don't know, strangers, and but we all feel like we know each other when they come out because they just showed all that love. I really appreciate that. Hi, David. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, David. I know about your case and a bit about Daniel. I was curious how the females he was in contact with ever came forward and spoke with you. No, I have never spoken with them. I never attempted. And like I said earlier, the thing that gets me the most too as well when it comes to the story that my son told me about the young lady, and of course you guys, I still have those recordings as well. Of course, you guys, as from a parent standpoint, I was really disappointed at Daniel at the time, and he know that. I was really disappointed because he's a very smart young man, very intelligent. However, at the same time, he don't spend the night over with two women in their house, right? And he don't know them at the time. I know they put it out that the girl, Daniel spent the night over the girl house. That's why he left the canopy at the house and all that. So they obviously knew each other good enough for. I know it's supposed to be the first night and all kind of stuff. I don't know what type of persons and stuff will do it, but that's definitely what happened. And Daniel know better than that. But at the same time, it wasn't like a overnight. They met each other and Daniel somehow was stalking her or something. They tried to make it like he was stalking her or something out of other. No, these people had conversations and things like that. So, but the point is, I'm saying is, my son out his own mouth told me it was two women there, but he was really concerned about the one. You guys know her name. I'm not saying it here again purposely, but he was concerned about the one. And he had a long cause. I asked him about her and details and this and that, what he did know. But the thing was, there's always been a second. So from an investigator standpoint, if I was to be talking to somebody, Hooser, if I was law enforcement, if I was Detective Biffin and the rest of them, I would have been talking to both of those young ladies. It would not be a report out there that we talked to one person. And that one person, they put a name out, that one that they drawing a narrative like Daniel was some type of stalker. It's a reason why, it got to be some reason why they're hiding, the Buckeye Police Department hiding the second person. It's the second person. You don't go to any situation, a crime scene, and you don't go knock on door to door as neighbors, did they see something or heard something? Law enforcement would not just go to one door and say, oh, well, that was in front of their house. Let's go talk to these people. That's it. They'll go talk to the ones across the street too. Because if they don't, that's half doing their job. So they half did their job even when it comes to talking to this one. I mean, I'm saying, to me, the way I see certain things, you guys, it's almost like it's purposeful. You know what I'm saying? From law enforcement. It's a purpose thing. They're doing it on purpose because it's impossible for you not to know. You put in report. First of all, they left my name, my personal information from South Carolina unredacted. You know what I'm saying, on the report, right? They redacted everybody else, but left me and my daughter's information unredacted at first. That's the first report. But then I'm saying, but able to hide some other person off the report. They hide the rancher's story off the report. I can just go on and on and on how they are purposely handling certain things, and certain things are purposely put in there. Who gives a damn about the feelings of coworkers, right? And then when I go look at it too, from my point of view, for instance, the coworker said he's been acting a little odd and strange up to what I got to do with him being missing. Hell, I'm probably be acting odd and strange right now. My son missing. I got things on my head, but I ain't gonna go missing because I'm depressed about something. Not saying Daniel was. I'm saying, he was acting odd and strange or whatever the case. And it's bull crap, you guys, because if you think about it, my son is a field geologist. Field geologist. I talked to this company many times, sitting in the boardroom and explain and try to understand Daniel's job. He rarely come into that building. The field geologists rarely come into Matrix New World in Phoenix on 44th Street in Phoenix, Arizona. Rarely, right? And when they come in through a back door because they put their samples down on some table and they're gone. They don't even see these guys. So how are these co-workers with the S that Buckeye claiming making opinions about my son? One person can, and that's the one worker off that job that hangs out with Daniel on a personal level. They go out to hang out or whatever, have drinks, or whatever they do. And that only one person. So they use the word plurals to bolster that story that he somehow did this to himself. It's often, especially people of color, it's often been pointed out and painted that way, that we are victims of our own selves. We did this ourselves. We ran away or something, or we just don't like our family. Our family unit is not together, and they don't like our family. So he just took off and joined a monastery, became a monk or something. That's they throw out these narratives and things like that because that's the way they try to paint a picture about people of color, and it's wrong. I'm sure you guys, when they gave me that first report, the Buckeye Police Department gave me that first report, and they gave me that partial report from Chief Hall, and that full. At the time they said full report, and told my investigator not doing an investigation. They told me there's no more leads to file. They put on the social media page where they finally took off, but I still got it. They expected, hey, this is a black guy. I'm sure this is where I'm taking it, from South Carolina. They don't care about his family that much like that. He's gonna be hightailing out here. He's gone. This case is done. We did whatever we looked or whatever, and we gone. It's done. We over with it. But they didn't expect a person like Mr. Robinson, me right here, a man who's been a single parent, who's been out there fighting for my children since day one, and to this day, and still fighting for my son. They didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying? They expected for it to be almost 2 years, and I'm still fighting. That's running them crazy. That's running law enforcement crazy because they thought I was going to go out and be gone. No, I'm not. I am not until my son is found, until I actually see some real actions being done in my case. I don't want to hear from law enforcement, well, we did this and we did that. Yeah, that's like me again, you guys. I like to use that analogy over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? I say it because it's true. You tell me right now, and I'm gonna say it again. I know you keep hearing it over and over again, but that's the analogy I like to use. You tell me right now, Mr. Robinson, can you go in the cabinet and look in there and see if you can find that grape jelly in there, right? And there's a whole bunch of stuff in this cabinet. Yeah, sure, I'll go do it. I get up out of my seat here, go in that cabinet, and I open the cabinet and I look around, and all the stuff in there, a bunch of stuff in there, all over the place. I look around, I don't see it, I shut it and say, nope, it's not there, I ain't see it. But I can write on paper and say, I went to go look. But did I really go look? Did I move things around and actually go look for it? Look for those clues, look for those evidence, look for whatever. No, I don't see law enforcement doing that to this date. Because if they were, they would have found the human skull that was near the crime scene where my son's vehicle was found. They would have found those human remains that we've been finding out there in the desert. They would have found those clothing items that was exactly the way the clothing items on the ground that my son. We thought it was a serial killer at the time. They would have found the 2 cell phones that was near the area where my son's vehicle, where the crime scene of the vehicle was found. They would have found those things. You get what I'm saying? They haven't found nothing, you guys. Nothing. They have found nothing. They have no clues or information that I have. Because they don't want to. It's all about image. Hey, yeah, we did this, but you got to push them and push them and push them. And if you don't push them, they ain't even going to even do the basics. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I'm telling you guys, it makes me uptight and make me upset because I'm looking at it's been going on 2 years. I have to try to, and I think there's ways they try to make me concede to say, oh, going to public. Oh yeah, they did the search like they did such a great thing, right? I appreciate the search. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the search. It helps me along with what I'm doing as well. I appreciate the search. I don't appreciate the fact that another department can see a department did something wrong, damage. I don't appreciate the fact that I'm holding my son's things, evidence, forensics works in a storage unit. I'm just saying wherever I got those things housed and things like that, right? And law enforcement should be in the evidence locker because this is a criminal act. Because they're refusing to make it a criminal act. Finding something that would suggest foul play, and it does. We gave them physical evidence, and they're refusing it, right? Refusing to accept it. I guess because they didn't find it, because their pride is hurt or something. I don't know, because we finding it. But whatever the case may be, they're refusing it. You know what I'm saying? And that causes me to have to remain. They're having a discussion to fight about who's going to take the forensics, to do the airbags, to test the airbags and all this other stuff that I've been asking. The red transfer, find out where the red transfer paint came from. Associate that with the crime that it is. Why am I over a year now, you guys, going on 2 years, still asking law enforcement the same old thing over and over again? What's going to be 3 years? I'm still doing it 4 years. Well, I'm going to be a pain in the ass. Excuse my expression, you guys. For those, and I'm telling you guys, there's going to be some things I call elections coming up. There's going to be some discussion about who's going to be the next chiefs and things like that. I'm going to be a pain in their behind. I'm telling you guys, I'm do that. They're going to do the right thing by me and my family and my son. I'm not going to take little cookies and think that's okay from law enforcement. Like, hey, look, we give you this thing, make it look good. Like I'm saying, oh man, thank you, sir. You're doing such a great job, and then move on and let you just let my son remain missing. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, you guys. I want to see some real investigation into my son's case. I want to see my son's case move to the Maricopa counties. I want to see, because of the jurisdiction of where my son's vehicle was found, the FBI to come into my son's case to look even further. I want to see the Justice Department that I've been talking to also as well do something a lot more. So the whole point is, you guys, I'm not. This fight is not over. Also, I'm doing some things and also planning in the background to do more for other people. Like I say again, I want to really put that out really strongly so you guys can understand my thinking and what I'm planning to do to help bolster and help other people don't have to go through the same idiotic stuff again. So the thing is, you guys, so look forward to that as well. So thanks so much, you guys. I know you guys see me get uptight, but after years, it's hard to be able to over going on 2 years, it's hard to be able to contain not showing some type of anger. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for just listening on that. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. You guys, any more questions? The capital letter Q, the word questions or question mark. I apologize that I'm skipping some of the comments. Trying to make sure I get to these questions. I'm at the 2-hour mark. I have some phone calls and things I have to do here. Did the red paint on Dane's Jeep come from? First of all, thank you, Trace, for being here from Q&A on the YouTube side. Did the red paint on Daniel's Jeep come from the red paint that Ken was spraying on the rocks that day? The way that I don't know. I'll just say that first of all, I don't know. But what it appears is the only way that happened if he threw a rock, and the way that damage is from whatever it came in contact with, it caused damage to the vehicle as well. So the vehicle came in contact with, so I'm saying it caused damage on that side as well. So it had to be something solid and heavy. But the reason why he told me about spraying the rocks red trans, all that is a suspect to me. That's all it is, and ironically suspect because one thing I can say that's plausible. There's a picture I wanted to show it. I'll make sure this evening, you guys, so I can give you some parallel. There's a possibility where red transfer paint came from. As I told you guys, I did check the second well. Buckeye Police Department came out on one of my searches that I asked them to, Chief Hall, I sent a letter to ask them to invite them out to my search. They said it's coming out. They came out one time before I did that, empty-handed. The second time they came out, when I say partially empty-handed, they came out a little bit more, but they had nothing to be able to search these wells I asked them to do, right? So they came out on a weekday. And I told you about how they went into that well with a non-submergible camera with this Maricopa County posse guys, what they call themselves. and touched the water, and they real upset because the camera barely touched the water. They didn't go in that water to search anything. They pull out, and like I'm saying, you guys, they probably think say some dumb dude from South Carolina. But anyway, the whole point is they, oh, nothing to see here. And they got this dog that to this date is not, I haven't seen it certified. They ain't getting the paperwork. It look like a family pet as a cadaver dog. Make a long story short with that, guys, they thought I was just good with it. Like I said, again, I'll try my best to find good things to say about law enforcement. At the same time, I think they try to give you a cookie and think you're okay with that. Hey, barely touch the water that well, pull out, nothing to see here. Give me some dog that ain't been proven certified like a family pet, and say, well, we ain't nothing here. That well is good. Daniel is not here, right? Basically, right? I saw that, and I didn't come to you guys on this Q&A to talk about. I said, well, Buckeye searched this well. I was there. They did. I even did a live video, and all that stuff. But in my heart and my soul, I was like, I hope they don't think I was satisfied with that. That's behind the scenes. So what I did is I got a company come in that actually do real well inspections. So you guys know that's where the video came from, with all that stuff that was in that well and that appeared like a human skull at the bottom, right? All that came from because I was going to make sure the due diligence was done to actually search that well, to actually search that well. And that's what we found in there. Now, like I said, when I did research to try to see if I can get those things pulled out, because it's not my well, it's a private well. I want to see who can actually get that stuff out of there. I'd be damned. Weber Waterworks, the same company that Ken worked for, is the only one in that area that can do things like that, right? Pull things out, right? Think about this, you guys. Okay, that's the only company I know. I don't know what happened from who been using it. That's in the other company. That's the only one I found. I'll just put it that way. And I say, okay, definitely ain't using them, because if they can pull things out, it's easy to put those big pipe that I saw in there and that wood. If they can pull it out, they can put it in. You know what I'm saying? So they got the equipment to do that. So the thing is, I said, nah, that's too, that's part of, they're part of, to me. And the last person that's seen my son is a suspect for me, right? So I can't even use that company. The thing was, I tried to go to law enforcement, get them to do it. Oh, yeah, okay. Um, uh, Buckeye, you guys know, not last weekend, but the weekend before, or the week before last, almost 2 weeks ago now, Buckeye Police Department went out there and resumed that well. They didn't tell me about it. They just did it. And then I only found out because I had made a phone call to Detective Biff about something else unrelated. And he said, oh, yeah, by the way, we just finished this well. I guess the one that they saw me here on Q&A talking about, because I didn't talk to them directly about that well at the time. I was talking to other law enforcement agencies. And they went and resumed that well, pull that stuff out of there, right? There they say. Then they start showing these pictures on their social media about them pulling things out of that well, right? Oh, we found a couple of rocks and this and that or whatever. What happened to the other stuff that I got on video that was down there? But anyway, fence pole and all that stuff. But anyway, nevertheless, they didn't. They get put what they want to. They said he told me they're wearing body cams, so I will be getting that. Because he told me on the phone. I do have that information from him. And but the point is, when they put those pictures on social media, you guys, they may have on their page. You guys need to go check that out. When you look at the equipment they're using, I'm sure it's probably from Weber Waterworks. I don't know. I'm assuming that machine they use to pull all that big heavy stuff out of there. Like I said, that's the only company I know that can do it. You'll notice the crane that they use is a total red crane, right? Red crane. My son was there to check the viability of that well that morning. And I thought it was a blessing from God when they put that picture up there on social media, because I did not realize that cranes that they use to put the wells in there was red. So you guys can go on that social media platform today and look at Buckeye. I'm sure now I'm talking about it, they're probably going to take off their page. So you probably need to move quick. Go look at it and you see the red crane. And sometimes I'm thinking, when I was looking at it that day when they put it out, they first they do is disrespectful stuff. They never consult with me or talk to me first about anything public. They put my son's stuff, like I said, up on social media about missing person day without consulting me first. The whole point is, the thing is, you go look at that and then you'll say to yourself, was Daniel out in a rush to get out of there and hit this equipment? And that's where the red transfer paint came from. I don't know. I just saying it's kind of plausible to be able to say, hey, you know what? That's a possible place where this red transfer paint came from that equipment, right? From that machine or whatever they use, that crane thing. Because when you look at it, you see the whole machine is red, same kind of red that is on the side of that vehicle. But again, this is something law enforcement will refuse to look at. This is something they refuse to participate in, because the way I take it, this is one opinions I can have based on everything that's been going so far. I have to look at things being suspect, because things are purposely done when there's so much stuff, that even common sense stuff that's there, and everything's being worked around it somehow. You know, I go direct straight down the middle and tell them this is what I got, blah 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 blah. Then they'll work around it to say what you got straightforward don't mean nothing. Basically, this is what Buckeye said. This is what it is, and blah blah blah. End of story for them. Law enforcement. I say now I'm talking about law enforcement at large, not just Buckeye, because like I said again, it's impossible to watch a law enforcement agent. You go beyond or out or in or out for every agency you can, and every agency will congregate together. First of all, they're supposed to have these meetings with me. Congregate, have their little meetings. How they going to try to handle Mr. Robinson? I'm sure. How are we going to keep his mouth closed? How are we going to, whatever the case may be? Let's get him this. Let's put him in this place. Let's get his team to do blah blah blah, whatever the case may be, and just to try to control the narrative, control something, because it makes us look bad instead of doing the right thing. It is more energy and efforts to do that stuff than to do the right thing, right? So that's what I'm fighting against, you guys. That's what I'm up against. Also, got here, got Twistina run out again, guys. I'm pushing these questions out. Not sure if you can answer, but have you done a background check into Ken? No, I have not. I have not. I assume my investigator at the time did. I had to go do it myself. Again, I just really want to talk a whole lot about that, but it's a lot of things I don't have from what I paid for. So I'll just put it that way. All right. Question marks. The tow truck companies keep records of vehicles towed. And I believe so. I believe so. And, I do know that the company that towed Daniel's vehicle out of there, they didn't have any red and anything red that would come in contact with that vehicle. But the thing was, I do know who the company is that pulled out of there for Buckeye. Maybe the same company that Buckeye threatened me if I didn't get that vehicle out of there the same exact day they told me about it, that I would have to pay storage fees for. So probably was that same company. Like, share, subscribe, you guys. Thank you, Sean, for putting that up. Information. I see these comments. I really want to get your comments, you guys. Please come back to Q&A this evening. Q&A prime time. I try to get more closer to answering questions and comments and stuff like that. This time a little faster so I can get more, because I try to keep things at 2-hour mark. I'm at 2 hours and 10 minutes now on this Q&A. Like I said, I'm waiting on phone calls, and I have to make phone calls. I got a lot of work I do in the background as well. So thank you, guys. Shauna, thanks so much. Question, what are your thoughts going forward? Yes, going forward, you guys, of course, it's going to be always fighting for Daniel. It's all my efforts is not going to stop. Like I said, I'll just be that bug, that pain, or whatever the case may be. You guys are supporting me, so as long as you guys are there backing me up, we can make things happen. So, we're going to show as a collective group of people from all across this country. We're going to show that when people, we're the law enforcement work for us, you guys, but when people come together and we can make changes, you know what I'm saying? So I've been learning this from this whole journey so far, that this is a grassroots efforts, meaning that it's people. It's not law enforcement, special agents or this or whatever the case may be. It's ordinary, everyday people like us made changes. Some of the things that happened in Daniel's case that did go forward, some happened because of you guys. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just one person. I would not be able to do all these searches. I would not have got these thousands of flyers all across the country out. I would not be able to get flyers out in the general area. I would not been able to call these people, do that, put these letters, put pressure. I would not have been able to make Daniel's case go nationally. And, what I'm saying, reach out to people in other countries. I mean, the whole bottom line, you guys, is that everybody working together like this, and I still need it. I'm going to constantly need it. I need to continue to have dedicated people like yourself to my son's case, and I really appreciate it, you guys. So going forward, yes. The question is, what are my thoughts going forward? Yeah, it's always going to be the fight for Daniel, and also to be able to help other families. That's why we had the Daniel Robinson Foundation launching this year. Also, some other endeavors, like I said, for myself personally. I want to be able to make a big difference in this country, period. You know what I'm saying? To help with certain things that that's problematic for just everyday citizens like me and you, things that cause my family and everyone to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Things that suffer. I mean, just everyday things, you know what I'm saying, that we have to be concerned about in our community. So all of the things collectively has been a problem for me for years. Then here it is, my son missing. That's added to that. Seeing how certain things are done by law enforcement, for instance, some things that are lacking, like the infrastructure and things that should be in place for missing persons, for instance. In my situation with my son, um, that is not there. Here you got a state, Arizona. I keep saying over again, California, and some of these other. Here you got these states with these high numbers. I mean, it's everywhere, but these high numbers of missing person cases, and they don't have the infrastructure there. They put it all on law enforcement. It goes the same way, you guys, that when you have a mental health crisis, for instance, somebody have a mental health crisis and the family call, hey, who do they call? The police. Can you help my loved one? They having a mental health crisis. We need to get them in some help. Then the law enforcement show up and shoot them dead, right? They shouldn't be handling that. There should have been some infrastructure, like they said, have a mental health professional team that comes in and talk those persons down and to get them the help they need, or whatever the case may be. They don't need to be shot down and killed because they're having a mental health crisis. You know, so the thing is, I'm saying, you know, it's the same thing with missing persons. You got missing persons all across this country. Here it is 2023, and the United States claiming they have this. Well, they're missing and nothing we can do about it. We don't know what happened. How the heck you don't know what happened? Just like my son's case. Hey, look, show me some footage my son ever driving. You know, I was looking for that particular day at first. Then I got cynical. Ever driving in Arizona, they can't produce it. So what are these little cameras sitting on the poles for? But when it comes to law enforcement, I guarantee if God forbid, I wouldn't do it. But I'll say somebody because I don't want it'll sound right if I say it for myself because that's not my thoughts. Robbed a bank today, and they ride down the street. They first of all they had to find a way to get to the bank. They robbed the bank and leave and got away. You know good and well law enforcement would trace every freaking camera that is and find out where they started from, how they got to the bank, when they left, and where they went from that point. They would narrow that stuff down. But in my son's case, because it probably costs money, I don't know. Well, we don't have no footage because it's not feasible for them. It's not part of what they want to do or whatever the case may be. But my son's life is at stake because of it. He's missing now for all this length of time because of that. Cell phone pings. Well, we can't get a cell phone ping because we got to. If I was apply for a warrant, you know, a judge wouldn't give it to me. I mean, this crazy stuff. What about his Uconnect on this vehicle? We try to find ways to track my son down. What about the Uconnect on the vehicle? Well, we can't get that. Then they turn around later and say, well, yeah, we called the Uconnect people and they tell us, they gave us a report and it's all zero grids. It's zero, magically, all zero grids. Nothing we can get from it. He had no subscription or some crazy craps, right? But if that cruiser was a law enforcement officer, cruiser sitting there, they would got all kind of information back, you know, cell phone pings, you name it, whatever. They would call it a criminal act, all kind of stuff. You know, I'm saying, you guys, without even looking at the evidence first. But the point is, I'm saying is, guys, there should be infrastructure in place for missing persons cases and their families to go to. They shouldn't have to call law enforcement anymore. Law enforcement ain't gonna do nothing. They'll tell you these fake, not even a policy. You have to wait 12 hours. There's no policy in the Buckeye. They told me to wait 12. They made me wait an extra 3 hours in pain, you guys. Walking, pacing the floor just to report my son's missing. Those are critical moments. 3 hours was critical moments added to the other moments. And they made me pace the freaking floor for 3 hours for a policy that don't even exist. There's no 12-hour wait for Buckeye, but they told me that. Wait for what? So the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, we can't rely on law enforcement to do that. There should be infrastructure there for just missing person cases, period. There should be a department within the department that's all they do is missing person cases. We should be able to call in, report our person missing, and there should be immediate action from a department that's dedicated to just that. That's well funded, especially in Arizona and some of these other states that have these high missing person cases. That's dedicated to just that. The equipment to go do the search and rescue, to you name it. All that stuff should be in one department and it should be well funded. So that's what I'll be fighting for, you guys. And so I'm just putting that out right now too. So some things I'm doing, but that's where you guys go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, sign a petition. I want to add some of that stuff to it too. So again, I'm talking long. Sorry, team. It's really getting to me. How close are you to changing jurisdiction from Buckeye County to county? I'm not sure. Waiting on. It's everybody blaming everybody right now. I would make a formal request again by letter. Formal request by letter, and then we'll talk about that on the other end on the public side. I think this should happen quickly. They may have new thoughts on how to proceed. Time is critical for this transpire now. Yes, and I agree with that. I agree with that. Thanks so much, Maureen, for that. And that's it, you guys. That was the last question. Thank you, Maureen, for your last question. And I really appreciate you guys for coming in this Q&A and spending this time with me. Please come back this evening, Q&A. That'll be at 5 o'clock p.m. Today, if you're in California, Pacific time, 6 o'clock p.m. If you're in Arizona town, Mountain Standard Time. That'll be 7 o'clock p.m. if you're on the Central Standard Time, and 8 o'clock p.m. if you're on the East Coast. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Again, this is Dave Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Thank you again for coming out to the searches, you guys. Thank you for constantly being here on this Q&A, showing love, support. I may have a guest this evening, so we're talking about that. So I hope I can get my whole team on. But we may have a guest this evening, so you guys come back. We'll be reflecting that on social media after I get off of here. But thank you so much for coming in. God bless you. I love each and every last one of you. Talk to you later.